With the futures of Delvin Cook and Alexander Madison up in the air, will the Vikings draft a running back? Moving on through our 2023 NFL draft preview, we are on to running backs. Now, do the Vikings need a running back this year? No, but it does
At least
feel
not right now.
right, not right now with the way things are, but it does sort of feel like Delvin's staying. If he does stay, I don't see us bringing Madison back, despite what all the rumors we've heard kind of going back and forth on the matter. We do have Ty Chandler that we don't know a lot about at this point, but it never hurts to add talent. We don't need to add one early. We can add one later. But either way, we figured we'd jump into this, give our top fives, and maybe talk about if there could be potential replacement for next season after Delvin Cook contract expires, because it does feel like if he comes back, this is his last season.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Like you said, we already have Ty Chandler as well. So even if we went into the season without Alexander Madison or Delvin Cook, there's a chance that we really like Chandler. But there's also complementary players in this, and we'll get into that as well. But before we do that, I want to thank everybody for watching GG Sports Podcast. I just want to ask everybody to subscribe and hit the like button. We also give away Justin Jefferson rookie cards on all our live streams. So I would recommend to hit the bell so you can get notifications for that too, and join us there, and we have a good time and give away those cards. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But from there, let's dive into our top 5 running backs for the 2023 draft.
Absolutely. And speaking of the whole, if Madison goes, we'll have Delvin Cook. We will have Ty Chandler. We won't have that in between the tackles bruiser type of running back. And that's where I start my top 5 personally with Minnesota Gopher Zone, Mo Ibrahim. No bias here, I think, when it comes to running backs in this draft. Mo Ibrahim, man, he's exactly what that Alexander Madison type. Between the tackles, tough runner, touchdown monster. Go through a few stats from him from this most recent season for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. 65 rushing yards, 5.2 average, 20 rushing touchdowns. Now, and this is the big knock, that you could say maybe he's not the best. Like, this is probably why he won't go high in the draft. He's not a receiving back, only had 50 receiving yards, and none of, no receiving touchdowns. But if you want that big, tough runner, I mean, and yes, he does have some injury concerns, but when he's on an offense where he's not the focal point and maybe he has a quarterback that can actually throw the ball, unlike Tanner Morgan this last season, I think he'd be a lot better off, a lot less wear on the tires. Plus, if you put him in a committee system, that'd be even better. But like, there's so much to like about this kid. Like I said, tough runner, tackle breaker, knows for the end zone. Obviously, I mean, 20 touchdowns this season is insane. I believe he was Big Ten running back of the year. He's not like laterally quick or anything, but he's definitely a one cut, find the hole and just go guy. He can break tackles. He does have enough speed. Yeah, man, I'm a huge Mo Ibrahim fan.
Yeah, dude, I like him too. You're right. He's an absolute bowling ball. Out of all these running backs that we looked at, there's no question he's the most powerful type of runner. People bouncing off of him like crazy. I think he also has really good vision, and he has good balance. He'll just get hit and he just doesn't just break tackles. It's like his balance also is keeping him up. So that's very valuable. I mean, obviously he's kind of one-dimensional. It's one of those kind of things where he's one-dimensional, especially in the NFL now. You kind of wish they could pass, but that one-dimensional it might be the best in this entire class at that one thing. And those kind of players there's always room for those players in the NFL.
Imagine as a goal line back.
Yeah, especially for us, like if we didn't have Madison or Delvin Cook going into next year and we just had Ty Chandler, I think Mo Ibrahim would be perfect to complement a Ty Chandler type offense, because you get the guy the perfect guy between the tackles. He's a perfect complementary back, I think. And that's what we'll see in the NFL. Let's bring up, I know you already kind of dived into his stats a little bit here. I'm going to dive a little bit more into them. Just some PFF stuff. He had an 89.8 grade last year. Like you said, 1,675 yards rushing, 5.2 yards average, 20 touchdowns, like you said, and then only 7 receptions, 7 targets, 50. At least he didn't drop any balls. 50 receiving yards, didn't drop any balls. Rushing grade, 88. Zone attempts, so all this stuff. Missed tackles, 71, 19th. Yards after contact, 3rd in college football. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, especially in he's playing against good teams. Did you have his combine stuff up?
He didn't work out at the combine, and his
Oh,
pro
I
day
didn't
is out.
notice that.
His Minnesota Gophers pro day was the day of recording this, and nothing's out from that yet. So
Okay. Still
not sure
be
about the
interesting.
straight line
Obviously,
speed,
he's
but
not gonna blow his 40 away or anything like that. But yeah, definitely super strong, and there's definitely a room for him somewhere out here, I think.
absolutely.
So my number 5 is Deuce Vaughn. This one, he's an interesting one because I think he can do everything really well. When you watch his tape, he does a fantastic job pretty much at everything. And you would not know that he's only 5'5", which was what was measured at the NFL Combine. Um, he's super small. I get it. And I put him in my top 5. But if you just look at his tape, it doesn't look like he's playing that small. I mean, he's still breaking tackles. He has like insane lateral movement, and really good speed. So I mean, I just like his tape. In my opinion, like, is he going to be too small for the NFL? There's probably really good chance. I went with the direction of going what I saw on tape and what I liked there. So that's kind of what I picked for Deuce Vaughn.
I mean, Austin Eckler's
Um,
small too.
what's that?
Austin Eckler's small too.
Yeah, that's a
He
good
makes
point.
it work.
Austin Eckler's an example of someone who's really small and came into the NFL is able to excel. And this is a guy that I'm going to let you take this from here because this is a guy you actually have higher
I
in
do.
our power rankings.
I
So I'm
do.
going to let you talk about him right now and what your feelings are. And then we'll go into you have his combine stuff for him. Did he work out there?
He vertical jump 35.5, 9'8" broad, 17 bench press reps. There's not a whole lot. He
Not
didn't
a
run
whole
at the
lot there. Okay,
combine
I'll let you
either.
go and then I'll dive into some of his PFF
Yeah.
stats.
But I mean, like you said, he is small. That is the one. That's going to be the one knock on him coming in here. But other than that, though, man, just watching him, I thought he was a very, very complete running back. He can do it all.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, what did he have this last season here? 1,558 rushing yards and 9 rushing touchdowns, 378 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. So it just shows he can do both. I thought he had with a lot of running backs. I mean, part of the reason that they're playing in D1 college football is because of their balance. But I thought he had really good balance.
Yeah.
I thought he was really easy for him to get through the line of scrimmage. What else did I have here? Elusive runner at the line. Even though he is a smaller back, he still has the ability to break tackles. Yeah, I just and just his speed. I mean, obviously, being small, you better be fast, and
Yeah.
he definitely is. Yeah,
I agree.
I
It
just think
kind of
there's a
reminds
ton to
me of
like about this guy. And I mean, I don't. Is he going to be an every down back? No, but is he going to come in and be what Jerick McKinnon kind of was or could be? Yes, but I think he's more talented for sure.
or
So
Tariq Cohen.
yeah,
Or
yep,
but he seems more like
yeah.
we
He seems like
say
he
that,
could
but he
be
seems
more.
more talented. When you watch him, he seems more talented than that. It's just he's so small that it's hard to say anything more about him. But I mean, he's in our top 5. So obviously we think highly of just his skills in general. We'll see how it translates to NFL. It's much faster and stronger than college football, obviously. But I'll dive into some of his stats here for PFF. 82.1 PFF, 91.6 the year before, and 89 the year before that. So he's been consistently good throughout his college career. 1,561 yards, 5.4 yards per attempt, 9 touchdowns.
So some touchdown regression there a little bit, like
Yeah,
by half.
touchdown regression, but I mean, I personally don't know what could have happened in that situation for that to go down. I mean, he still had 82.1 overall grade. A good good at catching, good good hands, all that good stuff like you mentioned before. But 43 receptions on 58 targets, 373 yards. The year before, 49 receptions, 66 yards for 468. Those are fantastic stats for a guy that, is looking like a bell cow. 291 attempts, 1,561 yards. Most guys are not putting that kind of production up at that size in college. It'll be interesting how that will translate to the NFL, but the skill's definitely there. It's just is the size and everything is going to be his Achilles heel at the end of all this.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I mean, again, I like Deuce Vaughn as well, and which we'll see going later on here. Number 4, I had Tyjae Spears out of Tulane. So you're seeing right there, Tulane. Obviously, that's going to be the first probably knock on this guy coming from a smaller school. Definitely hurts. But I liked a lot of what I saw from Tyjae Spears. Going through some of the things that I really did notice with him. I thought good vision in the open field. Once he gets the ball at the line of scrimmage, I thought he was really, really good at finding the crease fast, finding the best hole to run through and hitting it. Wasn't a big dancer. Just kind of finds a hole and go. Good lateral quickness in order to make that work, to find the best running lanes. Something I think Delvin Cook may have struggled with this last season, but that's just me, my personal feelings there. I thought he had really good balance, of course, as you have to if you're going to be a good cutter and be able to jump cut and find the hole. I thought they use him straight up as a receiver. Yeah, I really liked what I saw. And again, like I said, I think the small school thing is probably something that's going to hurt him just a little bit. But one of the things I did notice, even though he did have a lot of speed, I thought sometimes in the open field he did get caught from behind a lot. So he might not have that legitimate breakaway speed that you want at all times, but definitely saw a lot where he got past that first line, juked somebody out of their shoes at the second level, and he was gone. Going through some of the stats for him last season, 1581 rushing yards, 6.9 average, 19 touchdowns, 256 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. So liked a lot of what I saw from Tyjae Spears.
Did you have his combine stuff?
He didn't do much at the combine either.
Man, what's with all these people not doing stuff at the combine, especially if you're from a small school? Man, You got to go impress out there.
10'5" broad, 18 bench press reps. So, yeah, big fan of Tyjae Spears, but we'll see with the smaller school stuff. We'll see if that can translate to the pro game or not.
Yeah, I'll dive into some stats from him. Like you said, smaller school, but a 90.2 PFF grade. Bell caught 231 attempts, 1,586 yards, 19 touchdowns, and he can catch some passes. 22 receptions on 28 targets for 251 yards, 145.8 elusive rating. That's pretty beast. Gap grade 93.8. I don't even know what that means, but it's high.
I'm not saying he's not elusive. I'm just saying that he seems to get caught a lot when he's But yeah, man, thought there's a lot to like about Tyjae Spears.
And my guy. So how do we say this guy's name? Devon. What do you think it was?
I think it's Devon Akane.
Devon Akane. So obviously my number 4 guy. He's someone that actually, what's that?
NFL Network says Devon Achane.
Devon Achane.
Yep.
Okay. Devon Achane. So he reminds me a lot of Deuce Vaughn, but bigger. I didn't see the same in the reception games, but I like the way he moved, and he is fast. That's one thing about him for sure, is that he's probably one of the fastest running backs going into this. 4.32 40-yard dash, 1.51 split, 33-inch vertical. And it shows on film, but he also has that elusiveness, has that shiftiness in his run style, kind of what I saw in Vaughn, and he can catch the pass as well. Let me dive in and add his PFF grades in here real quick. 82.4 last year, which wasn't as great, but 90.3 the year before, 91.2 the year before that, 196 attempts for 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, not as high as some of these guys here. 36 receptions for 44 yards for 144 targets for 196 yards. It's a lot to try to talk about all these stats in a row here. 89.9 rushing, 93 elusive grade. But the big thing here is, like, when you watch his tape, you can just see how fast he is. Obviously it showed at the 40. But it's not just that, it's just his elusiveness, which I think I saw, and his ability just to dodge tackles, and he can be that home run hitter, and that's like one of the big reasons why I like him, and he's my 4th running back.
Yeah, and from what I saw from the tape, I liked him as well. I think I had him. I mean, obviously had him outside of my top 5. I think he was like 7 or 8 for me, but I did like what I saw there. I'm moving on number 3. Obviously, we talked enough about Deuce Vaughn. Yeah, short guy, but man, I think in the league, I think he'll find a nice home for himself and be able to carve out a good niche in any whatever offense he ends up on.
Yeah. So Zach Charbonnet, if in my opinion, I think there's 3 backs, and then there's a gap between, I think, our number 1 and then number 2 and 3. But I think after Zach Charbonnet, I think it's a pretty decent distance, in my opinion. This guy is huge. I think, what is he? He's 6'1", 220 pounds, and he is very elusive. He's very elusive. He can break tackles. He's fast, especially for his size. I don't know. Do you have his? Did he run the 40?
Yep, he did. I
What
got
did he
those
end up
right
getting
here.
on that? Yeah, throw that up there
Four
because I
five
didn't actually
three.
look at there. 4.53. So I mean, you'd wish he would have got under 4.4, but he is 6'1", 220. And I'm Tate, man. He looks faster than that. I see him burning some people, but the big thing is he's just breaking tackles, and not just that, is he is a fantastic receiving back. When I looked at it, he looked really natural catching the ball. And you don't really see that out of these really big running backs. And I was really impressed by that. 37-inch vertical, 10 foot 2-inch broad jump. I think he's more athletic than even what that 4.53. He seems faster on tape to me.
See, I thought he looked slow, but I thought he was again, deceptively fast. Once he got into the open field, he was outrunning people. But I didn't think
Right.
he definitely wasn't like a blazer out there, but definitely fast enough.
He just
I think I put him down as like a bruiser with speed.
he was just more like he had moves. He was more elusive than I'm trying to think of the word I want to use for that. Like juking and dodging tackles type of thing. Would that be elusive? Agility? Shifty. That's a good word. Shifty. Yeah, I felt like he's very shifty, and he's just good in the passes. Yeah, lateral quickness. 1.54 split there. And let me bring up these. So this is his PFF stats, 91.5.
He played for Michigan State in 2021, or Michigan. Sorry, University of Michigan.
Oh, I didn't actually even notice that. 91.5 this past year. Played 10 games. I don't know if he got hurt or not, or whatever happened there. 194 attempts, 1,358 yards, 7 yards per average, 14 touchdowns, 37 receptions on 44 targets for 320 yards, 93.6 rushing grade. Whatever this gap grade is, now I need to kind of look that up, but a 122.3 elusive grade. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe he doesn't have that home run speed that you'd really want, but he has it's just with his size and his agility and his shiftiness and his ability to catch the pass. I think he's going to be really good at the next level. You wish he'd maybe have that next notch, but I think besides that, I think he literally has everything you want from a running back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's like the one thing that he's missing, I think, in my opinion. But
right. For sure. But you want to talk about speed. We'll jump into our number 2. And the first thing that jumped off the tape to me when I watched Jahmyr Gibbs, the first thing I put in my notes is he fast.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the scene from The Longest Yard when they pick up the running back and the old guy's like, he's fast. He's really fast. He makes kind of fast people look well not so fast. That's the only thing I could think of when I saw him run. And obviously Alabama, they're known for their running backs over there. I mean, you could just name them.
Derrick Henry.
Name them off. Josh Jacobs. You got Mark Ingram, who had a solid NFL career.
So someone big we're missing here. Someone big we're missing.
I'm sure we are.
Was DeAndre Swift was he Alabama? Or no?
I'm not sure.
I don't think he was.
Someone's gonna get after us in the comments for forgetting. But
Jonathan Taylor?
Who?
Jonathan Taylor?
No, Jonathan Taylor is a Badger. Stupid Badger. We don't talk about
that. Oh, yeah, he was.
But anyway, with Jahmyr Gibbs, man, absolutely blazing speed. 4.3640, which we'll pop those stats up here in a little bit.
I'll throw him up there right now.
But this last season, I thought he had really good feet. A one cut type of runner, because that's all he needed. Juke somebody out of their shoes, hit the hole, and go.
Mm-hmm.
They used him in the return game. I thought he had real and sensational balance.
Yeah.
Like the big thing is he can break tackles, but I didn't have to see him do it much because he barely gets touched because he's just that quick and he's that and he's that fast. And in space, again, just when he's in space, 1-on-1 with the tackler, sorry, there ain't no chance you're stopping him and you're not going to catch him. Breaking down some of his stats from this last season, he had, let's see here, a little bit short on the yardage, 926 yards, 6.1 average, 7 touchdowns,
That's
444 receiving yards for 3 touchdowns. Obviously, though, with Bryce Young and that stacked Alabama offense,
right.
They're going to be balanced, and that's the number one thing you saw with this team is balance. But if you want a guy who's just blazing fast and talented, can catch the football, can do everything,
right,
Jahmyr Gibbs is your guy. Like if Delvin Cook was gone and we didn't have if I could draft 2 running backs in this class, I would draft Jahmyr Gibbs and I would draft Mo Ibrahim because they would complement each other so well.
But that's the thing with him too, though. It's like he still looked pretty powerful. Like it wasn't like it looked like it wasn't like he was like one of the smaller. Even I would even put him up against. I know his comp or his player, whatever it's called, the player that they think he's most like. I can't think of the word.
Player
What's the word?
comparison.
Yeah, compare. This is
Alvin
player comp.
Kamara, which
As
is
Elvin
fair.
Kamara, but I would even say I see more power coming out of him than we see with Elvin Kamara. Maybe he's not as elusive and as shifty as Elvin Kamara, but he does seem like a guy that can just put his head down and fucking use all of his 4.3 speed to get to the end zone. I think there's no question with same as you. I was a little bit torn between, which is kind of funny, between Gibbs and Chatterbook or whatever his name is. I don't remember his name. But it's funny because has all the speed, and it was kind of what the other guy was missing. And I feel like they would complement each other too in an extreme way, I think. But
absolutely. Anyway, number 1 running back. Before we get to that, I want to ask you guys again, hit the subscribe button for us, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Number 1, it's gonna be a surprise to you guys.
No, yeah, I already said it.
It's Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Now everything that we pointed out that was good about all these other running backs, I think you get that all together in one package with Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Big legs, tough, fast, shifty,
everything,
break tackles, open field is amazing, good hands. Everything about this guy's amazing. There's no doubt in my mind why people say if there's going to be a running back taken in the first round, it's going to be him and nobody else.
It's so crazy that we say that first round, like the running back position has, as far as the draft goes, has like died so hard that like this guy there's a chance in other drafts that he go top 10, like in Christian, like what did Christian McCaffrey end up going?
Number 8, I think.
Number 8. Like I bet you in that draft, I don't know. I think he looks more talented than Christian McCaffrey. I think he's probably one of the most talented running backs I've seen coming out of the draft. Probably, I would want Adrian Peterson. It was such a beast coming out of the draft. But Adrian Peterson is one of those guys that's kind of more one-dimensional. This guy can absolutely do everything at a super high level. I think he's so good, and any team that gets him it's gonna be a steal no matter where you get him at. I think.
Right. I think he will go in the first round. I think there will be.
There's no question. There's a team. There's a team that can use him. I don't know. People can say like, oh, you don't. Running backs not an importance or in stuff like that. There is some running backs out there that make a massive difference. I already brought up Christian McCaffrey. You saw the impact he made on San Francisco immediately, and I think this guy's going to be one of those players
for sure. He is that type of guy for sure.
Yeah, and I'm
looking at his stats though. This last season, what do we got here? 1580 rush. Or I suppose you got him right there. 1575 rushing yards, 18 rushing touchdowns. 19 receptions, 29 targets, 314 yards, and he had 2 receiving touchdowns as well.
Yeah. And 95.3 overall grade. And one thing to look at, 314 receiving yards and 19 receptions. That's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's insane. So he must, I didn't really watch him a lot or anything like that. So I don't really know like where those receptions came from. I don't know. That's pretty wild. Rushing grade 96.1, elusive grade 169.1. That's by far the highest we've seen. That gap grade, should learn what that is, but 97. There's no 5th yards after contact, bro. 1,071, 5th in the nation. Like this missed tackles forced, 1st in the nation. This guy's just insane. Yeah. He's insane. There's no question. He's number 1 running back.
Exactly. I mean, after contact shows you're a bruiser. You can evade tackles. You're quick. This guy can do it all. He's going to be using the passing game because he can catch.
Yeah.
And easy.
Someone's going to be lucky.
Easy number 1 on the list. That's our top. Those are our top 5s. We want to know your guys' top 5s. Let us know that down in the comment section, and we'll see you guys next time on the GG Sports Podcast.
Skol Vikes.